Hey, Brian from Garage Mahal. If you have a leaking shower faucet, first things you want to do is turn your water supply off. So when you pull this, all the water is basically kind of done leaking out. And then on this type, there is a little Allen key that's at the bottom. Oh, make sure you put a washcloth or a hand towel down on top of your drain so no screws or parts fall down your drain. And then you want to find out what Allen key you need, and then you want to loosen that up. And it's probably not going to take that much, but let's get that set screw removed. And then you kind of jiggle it as you are loosening it, and then that should come off at some point. In this case, it looks like I have to take it completely out, and then that comes off. So put that somewhere safe. Then next, you have to get this valve off, and in this case, it's a Phillips head screwdriver. And they might be a little tight, so be careful. Set screw out, and then that's going to pull off. You can clean that up a little bit before you put that back in. And then you want to get this little piece out, and sometimes those are stuck in there pretty good from just some rust and corrosion, so you just grab a pair of pliers, and then you can yank that piece out. Also, make sure you clean that off really good. Let me let my cuckoo clock finish cuckooing. And then you have a little piece up here that you have to pull out. And you can use like a clip tool, or you can use a pair of needle nose pliers, but that pulls up as well. And then your cartridge is here. And then with a pair of needle nose pliers, just kind of get in there and wiggle it back and forth. There's actually a tool for this, but this one has been in here so long. So just kind of twist it back and forth so it loosens up a little bit more. And then you can pull a pair of pliers. And then you pull the cartridge out. So that is your cartridge, and usually what goes bad is this just gets a lot of gunk and build up on there. So you want to get in there too and clean that out pretty good with something. And then you basically look at what this is. So it's a Moen, and I gotta get my magnifying glass, but I think that is a 12 something. We'll find out what that number is, but there's usually a part number on there. So you basically can go onto Amazon, pick up the replacement part, or you can go to your local hardware store and figure out what you need. Okay, so basically I'm just taking kind of like some paper towel, and I'm just shoving it in here with a screwdriver. Be gentle, don't be forceful, and then just kind of like push that around a little bit. Make sure it doesn't come apart. Just kind of clean out the inside, and you let it build up in there, and then just make sure that that is clear and you don't have any other stuff sitting around in there. And then you're good to put the new one in. Stay tuned. Okay, so this cartridge was the cartridge was a 12801, and then the exact match is the Moen 1225. So that's that. this is that little tool that comes in there just to kind of help you twist it so it goes in. And it does feel a little sticky, like it has some silicone grease on it, but we're just going to add a little bit more, kind of like a fresher coat on both sides. And then some here on this O-ring to make it go in easier. And so I don't get too much more on my hands, I'm just going to use a Q-tip and just kind of get it all around on there. Just make it go nice and smooth on the O-ring. Okay, and then we'll get that little O-ring right there. So that's that. So this cartridge basically goes in like this, and then you gotta kind of wiggle it in and get this piece in there, and then just kind of pliers work it in a little bit better. Okay, and then you want to get your pin, a little piece right here. Make sure that that goes down in there. And then you'll just pull this. Make sure that that's set correct. In and out a couple times. And then we're just gonna shine a flashlight. Make sure that that pin goes through and is set up on those pieces there. I'll give you a close-up in a second. So can you see how that little copper pin is basically around both pieces of those plastic, so it makes a nice good solid connection there. Okay, like I said, I did kind of clean this up somewhat, and then that piece will go over the top like that, and then that will push in to the wall. And then we're going to put this piece in here, and you'll feel it kind of line up. But before we get that too far, we're going to make sure that that is the right orientation, which it is. So we'll push that in, and then we'll screw this back down. And make that snug, because you're not going to get in there too often. Make sure that moves around. And then we're ready to put this piece back on. So we're going to put it on. We're going to turn it. Then we're going to get our screw set. And then we're going to line that hole up. And then you'll be able to feel where it sits. And then we'll just tighten that down. Make sure this is nice and snug, since they usually come loose after some time. So, okay, and that's that. And one thing, when you have some of these handle ones, what will happen is when you have new grease and a new cartridge in there, they may have a tendency to travel down. So make sure that you just pay particular attention to that as it goes. And that's only going to be for like the first couple of showers until that grease kind of like works it in. You can kind of see how it's falling down by itself. And that's just part of that being new. So you might have to pay particular attention when you're showering. But other than that, Brian from Garage Mahal, thanks for watching, and be safe out there.